That's not.
I like how I push the record button and immediately Chris is censoring his thoughts.
Well,
usually I can slide it in the middle of your sentence and you don't even notice.
Not just my thoughts anymore. So,
all right, are we ready?
Yes.
Are we ready? Are we ready?
Bored. We were bored ready, loser.
I have to like hold everything. I'm not at my desk, which has all the places.
Your desk is not a desk. Your desk is a piano.
Yes.
It's an organ. Yes.
It's an organ. All right.
That's right.
Welcome to Everyone Racers, a show designed for the world of low dollar racing and oddball car culture. It doesn't matter what kind of a Lemma Champ or Lucky Track Dog League you run, SCCA or NASA, we won't discriminate. As I restart my music. There we go. As long as you drive it hard and built it yourself. Join us each week for tech discussions, tips, tricks, as well as news and notes from the world of amateur endurance racing. And whether it's on the spot, hello sweet, or we're lucky enough and Chrissy gives us just the tip, we're sure you'll giggle a little and learn even less. Everyone report from whatever gulag they happen to be staying in. And tell us.
This is Chrissy.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Mental.
And we are Everyone Racers. Thank you for coming back and listening to another Hot Hatch episode of our podcast. This Peugeot 205 GTI debut in 1984, and despite never being available in the United States, it's considered by many the greatest hot hatch of all time. And now Jeff will say, hashtag
long roof for life. But I don't know if our hatchbacks long roofs. Like
some
205
that's an entire debate.
It is.
Some of them.
I would say in general, no. It's got to have 4 doors and a hatch, in my opinion, to be a long roof.
Yeah, so I don't think the 205 or my current vehicle counts.
Agreed.
Well, yours has 3 doors, so it's like literally. Right
this is a 4-door. Yeah. I walked around and was like, literally, this is a 4-door.
Yes.
Anyway. Is a perfect moment to remind you that our bingo card is considered by many, 3 out of 4 of us, the greatest bingo card of all time. Let's get your bingo card out. You might get some squares. Who knows? Let's jump on what you're working on. Jeff, what you working on?
All right, I'll start. I am not, for those of you who in YouTube land, in the same place I usually am, because the water table has decided to rise in Turnersville, New Jersey. And now we have a office full of wet carpet and the doggiest wet dog smell you have ever smelled in your life.
And your house is a split level, so to understand why this matters. Yes, okay.
Exactly. So half of the living space is 4 feet underground. Damn it.
And so, how much of that half is wet now?
The office and the laundry room. The laundry room does not have any carpet, so that's not a big deal. But the office is filled with carpet, and now it's all kinds of fans blowing on it, and we've been sucking the water out of it for 3 days. And yeah,
General Wakeman problems.
General Wakeman problems. That's it.
I feel like these are really kind of exceptional Wakeman problems.
Yeah.
But they happen to Jeff all the time.
No.
To anybody else.
House problems happen to everyone, right? Mental.
They do. But this is not like Jeff forgot to do some sort of preventative maintenance. This is tropical storm induced water table rise.
This isn't Mental forgot to put a roof on and it rained.
That, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
So still among this unique Wakeman problems.
Sure.
Not general.
Oh no, it is not unique because everyone in my neighborhood is dealing with the same thing. So,
General New Jersey
problems. Anyway, let me talk about the car stuff that I've been working on. The lovely and talented Jennifer, my wife, has returned to in-person teaching at the Penn State campus and now has to drive an hour and a half to 2 hours every day to get to classes and things on some of the worst roads in southeastern Pennsylvania, including 422sucks.com. So I gave her 2015 a Forester, a once-over, including taking off all the tires and checking everything because she told me there was a grumble.
What is a
And-
grumble like? Like, what does that mean?
It is a wheel
The
speed.
noise Jen makes when her car doesn't work right.
You should hear the noise
You're not
when the
wrong.
carpet is wet. That's way worse. But that's besides the point because she's right. So the grumble to me sounded like either the very, very early stages of wheel bearing or like tire noise.
And on a
And it-
Subaru, the rear wheel bearings are just like a maintenance item.
Yeah. So I said, it's fine. We can go to Chicago because it will either fix itself or not fix itself.
Oh my gosh,
And-
you're ridiculous.
1,500 miles later, it did not change. It did not get worse.
That's
It did not get better.
good.
It is not wheel bearing.
It could be a tire.
This is the deal. So before she left, she had the tires rotated because I said it might be tires. Let's rotate them. So she said the sound went from the front axle to the rear axle. And then in my recent inspection, I checked every wheel bearing. I shook everything. I found everything. And I swapped them left to right. And she's like, well, now it's behind the passenger. So I'm pretty
Tire.
sure it's some sort of tire tread deal. So I don't know.
I would tell you the best way to solve that is burnout, but
Well, I thought 1,500 miles back and forth to Chicago would solve it because I figured it's been COVID. I bought new tires right before COVID. She's got like 4,000 miles on 2-year-old tires. That's probably the problem.
Yeah, well, if the alignment wasn't perfect, then too, that it can just get a little cupping. And
There's a little cupping. There's a little cupping going on.
Yeah.
So whatever, send
Yep.
it.
alignment.
Alignment, send it.
Yeah, good idea.
It needs some brakes, so I'm going to do the
I would
brakes.
think after 1,500 miles, even Jeff would notice an alignment.
The alignment's pretty good. I saw the specs when she takes it to the dealer for her free oil change because she has in her service log, this bitch crazy, give her free oil change. So
That's amazing.
that's all I'm working on. Mental,
All
what
right.
you got?
So I was doing the 100 things in the Mercedes that I've been putting off. I posted a bulb replacement on Facebook and the Instagrams and some other odds and ends. I used my headlight restoration kit that I bought for the Boxster years ago, and I just redid the headlights on the Mercedes. Actually turned out pretty well. In preparation, because tomorrow afternoon I depart the Las Vegas Metro for Utah Motorsports Campus, where I'm going to be working with Extreme Experience. And then I've also, if you look in the back left of the Instagram Facebook post, you will see my latest Facebook score, which I am calling a Wunder table. It is 8 feet 4 inches by 4 feet 4 inches. I had to deconstruct it now to get it to fit, and it's going to be a little bit more purpose built, but I scored that thing for $50 from a woodworker who's relocating across the country. Yeah, so I got that all taken down, started putting it back together a little bit more purpose built. So then, general mental problems of working on the house. So trying to get caught up on all of that. Now I notice, strangely blank, but I'm sure she'll tell us something, is Chrissy. But let's go, because we were talking before you got here, Jeff. Chris has had an adventure.
Oh,
I don't know if I'd call it an adventure. We've had the struggles sometimes, but they weren't that bad. What have I been working on? The bilge pump and the electrics in the boat.
Well, hold on. We went to the Cape last weekend.
Yes, we did. Sorry.
Yes.
Well, obviously that's where the boat is.
can you explain why you're not in your current location?
We're not there yet. Hold on.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Chrissy can talk about that.
Okay.
So we're at the Cape. There was a hurricane. Henri was coming to visit the Cape. Or at least it sure did look like it when we were there on Friday. So tried to went out to go on the boat on Friday afternoon after not seeing it for 3 weeks and saw a little bit of water in the bilge. I said, well, that's strange. Huh. Got in the boat, pulled the bilge pump switch on and off a few times, and nothing happened. Chrissy?
Can I say that I said, we should try check the wiring in our switch. Maybe that's it. No, old bilge.
I haven't gotten there yet even. Thank you.
I'm just fine. I just
Fine.
need to make sure that I'm
Yeah.
you're aware
So,
of what's going on here.
The boat started up
So for
fine.
listeners keeping score, you've already ruined the punch or the ruined the
Don't care.
yeah.
Chrissy.
Don't care.
Chrissy was right. Chrissy was right.
The-
Just understand that.
The boat had power, started up, but this is a very simple boat. There's not much electrically powered in this
It's
whole
like
thing.
a 16-foot whaler. I mean, what's
Yeah.
there?
Exactly.
Wayla.
So
Whale
the motor works, everything related to the motor works. All that's fine. We're like, whatever, send it. The bilge pump though is 15 years old, at least. Don't really remember when that went in. So it's possible it had a problem. and because there's otherwise electricity, fine. Also, zero tools except for the Harbor Freight like blow molded on sale $30 kit that I keep in the boat because it's sacrificial because of salt water.
And like 3 screwdrivers.
Yeah, but that's all part of the
Rusty
kit.
screwdrivers.
Yeah,
You can get
I'm
other
sure.
screwdrivers.
yeah, but that's all part of the kit. Anyway, it's all there. So I said, okay, fine, we got to change the pump. Go to the store, buy a new pump, put that in, done work. So now I start backing up again. No tools. I have a piece of wire and screwdrivers. That's all I have. I get all the way back to the distribution block, which is on the in the console, and really all this is a 10 gauge wire from positive and ground from the battery direct to the distribution block. On the distribution block, I can touch positive and negative with a wire. No sparky, no nothing, nothing at all. Not blowing fuses, nothing. So I said, okay, well, that's a problem. To make sure all my connections are tight. Actually, I eventually went to the store, bought a multimeter, and took everything apart. And it turned out just something in the whole thing was corroded and wasn't connecting. So by sandpapering every connection off, everything now works. So
It was
dumb.
wiring.
Yeah, it was wiring. Fine. But now I have a multimeter at the Cape House. So that's good because I'm going to need it again.
Multimeters are like, they also should be Johnny Appleseeded at every location
Oh, yeah.
you ever might get. There's no reason you should ever be more than like 15 feet from a multimeter.
Or Sawzall. Because you never know. I mean, Sawzall's coming
Yeah,
in.
but Sawzall's more than like $9. You
That's
can't
true.
just like throw them everywhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, then I kind of tied the boat up a little differently to keep it away from the dock and the hurricane, moved some bumpers around. All that worked out just fine. We had 2 nice days out in the boat too.
Yep.
Since I got home, worked on the Mazda more. I got the clutch and flywheel off the car and found more carnage. It wasn't just the throwout bearing. The pilot bearing hadn't turned properly in a great long while. We'll put it that
Ooh.
way. I pulled the bits, the dry, hardened, heat-treated remnants of the pilot bearing out of the hole in the crank, and then tried to fit the new pilot bearing. No go, because the old shell
Been
of the
gnawed.
pilot bearing had welded itself inside the crank. I then had to grind out the old shell of the pilot bearing with a Dremel in the crank the best I could, enough that I could fit the new pilot bearing in just enough, and it is tight in there.
Did you pull the motor for this? Are you doing this on the bench?
No, I pulled the trans, and I'm sitting in
So
the
you're-
engine bay
yeah.
with, like on one elbow with my head up in between the engine and the frame rail. It's great. So all that's out. Well, what else was bad in there too? When the throwout bearing had kind of come loose, it had disintegrated part of the center of the clutch, like actually pieces broken off by where the springs are. So the clutch disc, like the friction surface, actually looked great. Plenty of life left. Pressure plate looked great. So it was a throwout and pilot bearing, and then various bits got in there and made it worse. So that was the Mazda. Now the rear main seal has been replaced, and the new flywheel is installed with ARP flywheel bolts and Loctite and all that crap because we enjoy having feet.
Great. I love having feet.
Good.
That's how
That's it.
Don Garlitz lost part of his toe when a transmission exploded early in his drag racing career, which is why you do all that. It's also the genesis of the rear engine top fuel dragster.
Ooh. Chrissy, what you got?
Well, we are sitting in a seemingly creepy hotel. No, this is actually the best. No, it's lovely. Wonderful hotel.
It
In the
don't look
middle of,
creepy at all. It looks pleasant from here.
it does. I know we look very comfortable in those places as well. So we are getting ready to do a backpacking trip in upstate New York. We are outside south of Lake Placid, and we are headed to head out and go to a couple mountains, one of them being the highest mountain in the Adirondacks, Mount Marcy. So we are headed out tomorrow morning early. So we drove up today. Chris worked in the car while I drove, and that's where we're sitting. So yeah, that's all.
That's pretty awesome, actually. Yeah, I mean, because your last backpacking trip got rained out.
Well,
week.
last week, yeah, the hurricane, the remnants of Fred was sitting right on top of where we were supposed to be hiking, and we decided that a day and a half of soaking rain was going to be just completely miserable, and we had nothing really tying us to those days, so we decided just delay a week, and we are much happier. We have a couple chances of rain for the next couple days, but it should be much less than we were planning on before.
Well, and ideally that'll keep it from being not miserably hot.
It's going to be cold, actually. Yeah, we're
the highs up on the mountain are going to be like in the high 50s.
That's awesome, though. That is like the best.
That's perfect hiking weather.
Yeah. So we're trying to. It's somewhere between top layers, pants maybe, and it might be cold at night, but it's better than medium hot, and a little bit of rain here and there won't be too much of a burden. So
watch out for bears.
Oh,
yeah, wear a bear bell. You'll be fine.
We have yes, and we have a bear box.
I say, I thought you put all those bears in the boxes. They should be, if you've got them in the boxes, they can't get out, right?
No, we're gonna know which one's ours because it has awesome sauce stickers all over it. But I'm pretty sure it's gonna probably come back a little bit scratched. So.
I've never used the bear box that you bring. I've been to places where they had a bear box, and I've been to places where you hang the food, but I never had the actual.
Our last trip, we went to places that had boxes, so we were able to put them in the big cases. Didn't need to bring our own, but this place actually has bears.
And they say in the Adirondacks, the bears are smart enough that if you hang it, they'll find a way to get it down and just use the rope to drag it away and get the stuff out of it. So you have to get the kind of cylindrical plastic ones that they just can't really do anything except bat around. And they just kind of bat it around and then get bored and leave. So that's why we stickered ours up with all the various racing stickers and things we had in the garage to make sure we knew which one was ours, because they're kind of common. So
yeah, nice. Are we ready for news and notes time?
Oh no, we're not.
No,
I'm kidding. We're totally ready.
Okay. I'm like, oh my god, I missed something. Hey everybody, it's Jeff. And I don't know if you noticed this, but last week I conceded that if the new Z, along with some other great new offerings, don't sell, quote, performance cars are dead and we should all just get used to our SUV cute Ute overlords. Well, Ford Motor Company's new tiny truck, the Maverick. Yes, Chris? Is there a question?
What's it like owning a Z? Because I'm not really sure right now.
See, folks, even though they're in a hotel room, Chris just came off the top turnbuckle, top buckle with a metal chair. Bam!
We will again someday. Anyway, back to the news section. Ford Motor Company's new tiny truck, the Maverick. We'll talk about Mavericks in a minute. We have talked about previously, generated lots of early interest. The Detroit News is reporting reservations for the hybrid pickup are topping 100,000 units. Even more interesting, most of those are coming from California, which is a market that typically favor imports, especially import trucks. And not surprisingly, the Toyota Tacoma is the marketing king. Ford concedes that the reservations are non-binding and don't require a deposit, but it's still confident that they'll convert those into orders. This was proven true with the Mustang Mach-E and the Bronco SUV, which I think are probably on the alternate sides of the interest spectrum. But anyway, as a quick refresher, the Maverick is a little tiny pickup truck. It starts under $20,000. It gets 40 miles per gallon with the standard gasoline electric hybrid version and is only 6 inches longer than the current Camry. Link in the show notes.
I want to see if any of the people who have boo-hooed the Ridgeline for years are okay with the Maverick because it says Ford on it.
Because it's American.
It says Ford, even though it's a front drive car with a bed. Anyway.
I agree to your point about the Ridgeline. I think what's attracting most of the people is that multi-configurable bed and the hybrid powertrain.
Which the Ridgeline also has the multi-configurable bed with the
thing
underneath. So everyone, if you're out there poo-pooing the Honda pickup truck carlet thing, whether it be the first generation or the second generation, get over yourself. They're supposed to be fantastic.
Exactly. Hey, so to Jeff's point about welcoming our CUV overlords, Acura is hinting there will be a third generation NSX. Last week, we told you about the new Integra announced at Monterey alongside the new NSX Type S, which is the final model for the second generation. When he was asked specifically about another NSX generation, Acura Vice President and Brand Officer John Ikeda said, "If you notice, we make an NSX when there's something we want to say. The first gen was gas, second gen was a hybrid. There's going to be another one." This leads to a lot of speculation about the new supercar being all electric, a trend we're seeing globally. When asked this question directly, John replied with a smile and refused to comment further. However, in a separate interview with Motor Trend, he expounded further. "We didn't get into it to make a lot of money. Instead, the NSX proved its worth by acting as both a marketing and engineering exercise, bringing people into the dealerships, exactly, and giving the company practice and know-how when it comes to building fast electrified cars." He then added, "We learned a lot about electrification and fun to drive, which is a staple," he told Motor Trend. And of course, boardroom-ready business case aside, a new NSX is happening simply because Acura wants a new NSX. Link in the show notes.
Nice. Am I the only one who has driven the current NSX?
Yeah, we have not.
Mental data. Okay. They're fantastic. Electric, hybrid supercars, bring it on.
Totes. Yep. Now, speaking of hyper supercars, the tale of the dealer technician that took a customer's new C8 Corvette on a 20-minute abusive test drive that accumulated with a street race versus a Dodge Charger in a top speed of 147 miles an hour.
Hell yeah.
Actually has a happy ending, according to Jason Torchinsky over at Jalopnik. Now, a quick background, if you didn't know this story, the owner dropped the car off for a ticking sound, turned out to be a loose spark plug boot. The tech then took the car on a famed test run, and all of the shenanigans were captured on video via the Corvette's onboard data performance recorder. The owner uploaded the video to Reddit, where it is immediately picked up, plastered everywhere. It quickly became to the attention of the dealer, Fremont Chevrolet in Fremont, California. To quote the customer with the Corvette, "The owner of the family of dealerships reached out to me, and I am laying in bed, and he texts me at 9 or night or something, just apologizing profusely, saying he wants to make this right. And then he offers me a 2022 Corvette. And that's pretty shocking. I followed up with the dealership's general manager the next morning, and they said, 'Hey, when can we meet?' We configured my 2022 together, and he let me push the submit button, so my order is with GM," which is reminding all of us who might be a little jaded out there that there are still people in this world who consider the right thing above profit. Link to that story is in our show notes.
Yeah, I think he'll get his 2022 Corvette that he just ordered the 5th of February. Not because of the dealership, but because they're just
no cars.
They're
not going to get that.
But it's just nice that they did that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. That's great. All right. Right on schedule with the U.S. electric car mandate, a massive recall is affecting the stockpiles of two companies. The cost, $1 billion. Last year's GM recalled 70,000 Chevy Bolts after NTSA opened an investigation into whether cars were prone to catch fire when parked. It turns out that they do.
Who knew they sold 70,000? Sorry, didn't want to keep going.
Right? That's it. All of them caught fire. There's only the 70,000 that went out. GM cited defects at the battery manufacturer LG in Korea. Meanwhile, the NHTSA told them to park outside. Last month, GM recalled the same vehicles again after the fix was implemented because two of the repaired vehicles ignited. The company said that it would replace the battery modules after identifying two separate manufacturing defects with the same battery cells. That contributed to General Motors stock shares plunging to the most in more than a year. Then on Friday, GM expanded the scope of the recall to the entire run of all of the bolts. The new cost is now $1 billion. For its part, LG was forced to pull the planned IPO as it has lost over $6 billion in value since it started. Meanwhile, Chevy is refusing to buy back customers' bolts and suggesting the owners park outside.
Park them outside. That's fine. This is a shame because I think the Volt and the Bolt were very important vehicles. It proved that the domestics could make something great, and they are making hybrids and fully electrics everywhere. So I'm sorry to see it happen.
What's really interesting is they're finding that this battery defect in like 4 different plants, one in Sweden, one in Korea. So
Somebody's in trouble. Somebody lost a job.
Yes.
At least one guy.
All right. Mental, we have a plug, right?
We have actually 2. Now, before we get in, I know, right? Before we get into yours and mine, I should have had this ready to go. Our buddy, Lady Aubernon, Cameron Aubernon, you can find her over at the Aubernon Highway. She likes to join us on our Monday night E1R races. She is on a subathon Twitch thing. Now, the link to that's going to be in our podcast, and it is going to be this weekend. She is going to be on from midnight until 3 a.m. helping another one of her vloggers, Chia Kubas, aka Pixies. You'll see her in the chats on the Lemons races. So she'll be in there midnight to 3 a.m. So if you can't sleep, get on their Twitch. They're doing a fundraiser to help with Chia Kuba Pixies fundraising efforts. We'll have a link to that in our show notes. Jeff,
okay, question. When is this happening? Because I know it's like Friday 11:59 and then it turns midnight on Saturday, so it's Saturday, or is it like when?
I'm sorry, I scratched that. Wednesday morning from midnight to 3 a.m.
Wednesday morning. Okay, so 1 week from the day we're recording, or like right now?
I should know the answer to that question, and embarrassingly, I do not.
All right, so go to the notes whether she's on live or not on Twitch and sub. Her stuff is cool. I've read a bunch of her stuff. Yeah. The other plug is for guys bracelets. So yeah, I got mine. I'm gonna try and put some light on it here.
We'll have ours soon.
You ordered it? You guys got a set?
Chrissy ordered a couple. Yeah.
Maybe.
Awesome. Fantastic. That's no.
So yeah, it's let's give the plug. So it is GYX on Instagram, the only way to get custom bespoke bracelets like Mental
GYX custom.
GYX custom. Thank you. It is the only way to get them ordered. You can get them. I have mine in classic. Gotta figure out how to turn it. Classic golf livery to match my new Veloster. I'll put a picture up on the Instagrams. And
I also have one in semi-classic to match my watch.
Very cool. And the other one you have is a custom bespoke painted like your Mercedes, correct?
Exactly. The exact same color, Capri blue, as the AMG.
So yeah, the artist will color match whatever car you have. You send her the paint code and she'll do you up. So pretty exciting.
These are manufactured by the spouse of a gearhead who loves watches. Naturally, they also appreciate
Porsche-phile.
A bit. They appreciate cool cars. They appreciate cool watches. And they said, I could make something that would just really accessorize all these. So we got lots of jokes about people only wear bracelets when they're ordered to by the court. And that's cool. But shopping season's coming up soon, and this is a lovely way to reward the gearhead in your life with something that is wholly unique and crafted just for them. They also have the regular bracelets that are just ready to wear, and they're not custom made. Check them out. They're on. The only way to get them is on Instagram.
GYX _bracelets, right?
Yep. Link will be in our notes.
Customs, excuse me. GYX pronounced guys _customs. Awesome. Upcoming races, go.
Champ Car is on their merry way to Thompson, where they will also be dealing with rising water tables and floods and things like that. In the meantime, they've got 48 cars, 13 of which are BMWs.
Boring.
Wow is what I have to say. Wow.
16 Miatas.
Wow again.
Which is, I believe, all of the Miatas in the Northeast. All of the surviving Miatas that are not rusty or belonging to Alex Levison are now going to.
What else is there?
That's like 30 of 48, right?
Yeah.
No, my math is a little wrong. Yeah. 29 of 48.
4 Hondas, 5 Porsches. It's 48. Yeah. Four Hondas, 5 Porsches, and a 3-car strong Boston Whiners team with, yes, 2 boring W's, but also their S10. Good luck.
Nice. Good luck to the Whiners. Don't win. How about this? Win so often and love Champ so much that we never see you again in Lemons, because damn, you're fast and hard to beat.
They put their time in. They're a
a great team. I've nothing against the Boston.
They've gotten less obnoxiously aggressive over the years. They've toned it down.
Absolutely.
And you know what happens when they toned it down? Oh, they started
won.
to be successful.
Yeah.
They started winning. Holy cow. Yeah, it's awesome.
Recent results. Lucky Dog was down at CMP, and it was the Squirtin' Corona show. That's right. Our boy, Big Sexy Darren. Saturday 7 hour took overall, a lap over Running Bulls, and 6 laps over buzzed Viking, like a drunk Viking. Sunday's 2 hour sprint before Jesus hour, I think they did that, and then they stopped. They were second, 52 seconds behind the Running Bulls, and a lap over buzzed Viking. Then Sunday afternoon, they put them back on the top two. They put it back on top, 2 laps over the Running Bulls and 3 laps over Theoretical Racing, which means Big Sexy and the SLK crew from the Squirtin' Coronas are the winners of the inaugural Lucky Dog Carolina Cup. So I think that means they're going to get some more Rebellion watches, and they can go to GYX_customs and get a hand-painted, bespoke bracelet to match their thousands and thousands of dollars of merch. Honestly, the Rebellion watches are gorgeous and really gosh darn expensive, and they're going to get some. I'm totally jealous.
And they got
and
cool trophies too.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that.
No, it's fine.
They posted pictures of their awesome sauce trophies.
Yeah.
And they won. That's so cool.
That's awesome. Yeah.
All right. Champ car was a Gingerman on Saturday. First was 90racing.com and their 88 CRX, a lap over the 91 Corvette.
Corvette magazine.
Nice. That was good. Of Subliminal Racing, and 2 laps over the third place Porsche 944 in Visceral Racing Group.
Sunday, 90racing.com, who needs a new name, took the win again. A lap over the Mercedes 190 from Two Brothers, and 2 laps over the Boring BMW from the third place TR Motorsports.
Nice. Is it listener feedback time?
It
We're cruising right through the show, and now it's going to we have so much listener feedback. I'm going to read quickly. Go.
All right. On our last episode, the Dream Track DJ 914 actually thought we kind of missed a few things, including a bar. He's right.
Is right.
Quote,
Totally.
For facilities, I think a gold star would go to Watkins Glen, especially if you factor in the local town and the Glen Club.
I don't agree with the Glen facilities.
No, just the club. Because
the bar.
The Glen Club, the bar, you've got Art and Senna's signature on the wall. I mean, it reeks of history. It reeks of history the way Jeff's basement reeks of wet dog.
Mm-hmm. Totally. On the YouTubes, comments centered on food, especially a food item my brother, the Good Wakeman, brought up. He said you missed having a good pro shop for race gear and snack stuff, but not an overpriced one like what the general store at NJMP wants to be, I guess. And a snack bar needs to serve pork roll sandwiches, and I can confirm the NJMP track snack bar has pork roll sandwiches. And then Ron Harrington jumped in and said, yeah, pork roll.
Al Jones agreed with our pit race assessment on concessions. That's the one thing that track could use. A food trailer is usually only open for big weekend events. If you go on a weeknight or something like kart rentals or a track night, there's no place to get food or drinks.
Good call.
Yep.
Good call.
Mental also posted a short What You Working video. And do we even want to mention that you had to take apart the entire front end of your Mercedes to change a freaking light bulb?
Eurocar life, yo.
I'm so glad I went.
Hey, 170,000 miles. If you have to do that once every 170,000 miles, not that bad.
Well,
So
Alex,
next week, the other bulb's going to go.
exactly.
I hope you did both.
I know.
Why did you change them both? What did they cost?
Because they're $100 a piece.
F that, yo. I don't
Take
care.
the whole thing apart. Just do it.
But now he's faster at it.
It's true.
They have
true.
quick connects.
Yeah.
You need quick disconnects.
Actually, it's all 10 millimeter and 12 millimeters. And once I did it, yeah,
It's
went
very
back on in
logical.
like 30 minutes.
The
Yeah,
car
it
makes
is.
perfect sense to take apart.
Yeah, sure. But why did you take it apart? I don't know. I just reached in and changed the bulb right on the back. Alex chimed in of Miata fame, and he was wretched on Miatas. He crashed his Miata. I guess he's got another one or something.
No, one of his old race cars showed up. He was helping somebody with that one.
I think they just kind of litter his life.
Yeah, that's about right. Brian M has tying up wires on the boat trailer and pulling the boat up before the hurricane or tropical storm roll in. I understand that.
Yeah.
we were about to try to scrounge a truck from somewhere and have to cut the hitch lock off of our trailer because, I left that key in the Suburban because why would I need it until I have the Suburban there? But fortunately, storm moved west enough that we didn't need to take it out.
Got it.
And I posted an asshole picture of me relaxing.
Well, that wasn't that bad. What's wrong with that?
Nailed it.
Well,
Yeah.
I was relaxing.
So what's wrong with that? I posted a picture like 3 times and it never showed up. I don't know why. Something wrong with my Facebook of me covered head to toe in dirt because I was doing yard work.
Ah.
Oh.
Ashley D
It was too dirty, Jeff.
Yeah.
That's what
Oh, there it is. Didn't meet the community standards. Well played, sir. All right. Now, Ashley D was building and hanging chandeliers that they were modified with LEDs, which the entire post actually sounded really cool.
Yeah, awesome. Dean was working on his pool pump install, the Rolls-Royce carburetor rebuild, and he was prepping the Porsche for a track day.
I mean, that is a first world problems kind of post.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Amazing.
My Rolls-Royce, my Porsche, and my pool all don't work.
Had to move my Fisker out of the way so I could work on my rolls.
Yep. Gentleman Dave had his Chevelle out with a heck of a good looking spread in the trunk for the Fort Mott State Park Car Show.
Kim L was busy roll cage on the car. Lawnmower has a flat trim on a house. 3D printing wheel, center cap, covers for RPF
one's famous wheel.
And making space for a racing sim setup.
Which is out of place where we normally promote this, but a lovely time to invite all of our listeners to our Monday night E1R Race League. It is password protected every Monday night at 7:00 and or I got to do the math.
9 and 10 Eastern.
9 and 10 Eastern, and then 3 hours.
Move to a
on
real
my
time
side.
zone.
You move to a real time zone. I don't have to deal with hurricanes. And anyway, so come out. It is password protected. Just get a hold of us on any of our social media, email, text, whatever. We'll give you the password. It's our favorite brake pad. So come in there and check it all out. We have a
You're
good time.
listening here. It's ST43. Just go in.
Yeah, okay.
Whatever.
You know what? Yeah, it's
Look it up on your
ST43.
bingo card.
Pretty much. It's not a lot of racing, but it is a lot of fun.
Here's my dirty ass legs.
Oh,
And pants.
no.
Jeff, no more posting dirty pictures
Yes.
on our E1R group.
Yes. Our
Seriously,
Erling,
the wood paneling in the back and the whole basement vibe, dirty pictures of you. This is unsettling.
Yeah.
Oh, stop.
anyway, Erling Lang chimed in. Thank God he can't see this now, although he probably will on Facebook. Offered that the Mercedes-Benz bulb was about the same dismantling on a first-gen Renault Megane. I don't know what that is.
Renault Megane.
Megane, a Megane. 4-hour charge at the dealer.
Ugh.
I'm going to mispronounce French things later, so stick around, everybody.
Great. Andrew L was prepping the Toverg's replacement door for paint. Always needed.
Al Jones was rocking out. And by rocking out, we mean shoveling 2 tons of landscape rock for a yard project by himself.
Yeah, that's why I don't have all the landscape rock where I want it, because I have the same problem. Wartburger thief Aaron was doing race car things with race car friends. Neil Rutt was out there in his modified mud, I don't know, circly thing. So yeah, honoring a friend of both of theirs that passed away by changing their race number for the week.
Cool.
Cool.
Levin's races.
Busy Sunday night for the Bearded Sim Racer crew. 4 separate races and some minor tech issues he battled through. First was the Pro 2s and Pro Light trucks at Lime Rock. Santiago crossed the line first, even after a too fast penalty. But the random real winner, Kevin Hesser.
It always goes to one of the Hessers.
Then it was Miatas on dirt at the defunct USA Speedway. Orens crossed the line, but the winner was number 17, M. Pullen.
Off to the Glen for big wings, open wheelers, Jay Becker, but really, number 9, Lady A.
Then V's at Skippy's at Irwindale for a figure 8. Hell yeah. Who cares who won? It was destruction and
those are
everything
great.
broke and it was amazing.
And bonus race of the new Mount Washington downhill course, Formula V's coasting in neutral. Only 4 cars managed to make it. To
Oh
the
my
bottom.
God. I missed that. Is
That's
that on
awesome.
is that on the YouTube? I have to go. Watch
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. And it's fantastic. It's a soapbox course that they added on there. So
That's
you got,
wonderful.
Yeah, you'd wind out first gear, and then you had to kind of coast and choose where to use your brakes. It was hilarious.
Wow. Well, we also had a hilarious time on our Monday night race that Mental already pimped. We had some big dogs at a big track to prep for this week's Lemons race. So we went to Spa-Francorchamps. I don't know how to say it. With some GT4s.
Actually, that was awesome.
That was the best French thing you've said all day, even though the track is in Belgium. So.
I know, but it's in French, isn't it?
Flemish.
Fuck.
It's related.
It's close. Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, we had street stocks, we had GT4s, we had Skippy 2000s. Just about everybody took the GT4s. I have some technical difficulties, and someone rammed right into me right at the beginning of the race, and I had it's a giant track, so it was like a 4-minute tow. So that's why I came in last place.
That's why.
Okay, I guess. I also didn't have the black flag. I don't know who I'm kidding. The second race, nobody crashed into me. I had the black flags thing flicked, and I still came in dead last. So whatever.
The only reason you came in dead last is because I wasn't there.
It's a really hard track when you've never run it
last.
before. Aaron, Tyler, and Al Jones got all the glory in both the races. The worst part is everyone was talking about the turns by their names, and half the people there were like, we're American. We don't know what the F you're talking about. I don't know where En Rouge is or why the hell Paul Fieri is standing in the middle of the track. I don't know. And I looked it up, and actually En Rouge is at the bottom of the hill. And everyone kept thinking it was the top of the hill, but that's actually Radion. So I don't even think they had it right. So.
Jeff corrects your turn knowledge on
Rouge.
Yes.
Eau Rouge.
Jeff corrects your turn knowledge on old European tracks. Look for that on your bingo card. It doesn't exist because it doesn't happen.
No, doesn't happen.
Now here's
it's like Jeff pronounces something in French properly.
I did it half the time.
Here we always say something lovely about Chrissy's mom, as we should. But one of our earliest listeners is Lynn Stewart, brother-in-law of CNC. And I'm going to go ahead. They threw it on Facebook. Also, now about to be dad for the second time. He celebrated his birthday this week. He has always actually been a really great supporter of the show. Every time I get to sit down with him, he talks about how much he enjoys it. So sincerely, happy birthday.
Wait a minute. Isn't this like actually Chris's mom's birthday?
I'm going to be embarrassed that I don't know that. And I totally should, because she's got the name of 3 of the people on the show.
Hey, you know who never gets a shout out on the show on their own birthday? Chris's mom.
It's fine. She doesn't listen, so she doesn't.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh,
Anyway,
we love Chris's mom too.
That's right. Flashback. We actually know when we're going to do our AMA show, right?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. September 6th, 8th.
You're going to make me look at a calendar.
No, don't worry about it. 2 weeks. 2 weeks on Wednesday.
Because it is. It's the 7th because the 1st is our next show.
The 7th. So we will celebrate that milestone with a live Ask Me Anything. Check all of our social medias for the links. We're going to put it out about an hour and a half before the show. We're going to put it out, but we'll be tweeting the times and everything, whatever. It's going to be 8:00. It's going to be Wednesday the 7th. That's 8:00 Eastern. But until then, we have quick flashbacks each week celebrating our 200 shows. Around the horn real quick. What was your favorite show topic you had to research? Mental, go ahead. You're first.
When Chris proposed the engine swaps are hard episode, he really didn't want it to be the all Chris episode. And it forced me into an entire realm of automotive research that I am just utterly unfamiliar with. Now I'm familiar with it. I'm not any good at it, but learning considerations when you're doing all these engine swaps, because you watch Motor Trend or you watch the shows on YouTube, like, you could drop an LS in like 30 minutes. You could do one on your lunch hour.
Yeah.
And
Chris is going to go swap these superchargers onto our LS there.
While I push today's
look at these Edelbrock heads. Aren't these great? All right. Well, Chris is done with that supercharger installed now. So
which, if we actually had one of those kind of shows, that's how it would always go, is me, Chrissy, and Jeff would be talking about something. Chris is going to go do all this technical work, and we're going to talk about White Claws.
We're going to eat chips and watch.
Chris comes back sweaty, covered, like 4 years older. All right. Looks like Chris is finally down with that.
I have the same reason for my favorite show to research. So can I jump in, or you still got something to say?
Please.
It's all you.
The how to Not Suck at Driving, the Driving Better episodes. Chris and all these other people who went to actual like racing school know all those terms that I don't know. So like having to like go back and like read and like go back to like, you know, the art of winning and some of those other things and learn about like how to use the terms. I think that has been my favorite thing to research because I think it made me better. Chris and Chrissy
did win an overall.
I don't. Chris is saying I don't research things because I know it all.
I'm sure he's researched.
That's what Chris says. I'm trying to think of my favorite. So I am not the most technical person. So I try to do some research when there's something that I need to speak on, or I pick the spot that I know the most about. But I think some of them have to do with the when something happened that we put it in just the tip. I often try to research more things about it. So I'm thinking about like when there was the fire extinguisher recall, or there's some other recalls that we post on Just a Tip. I try to do a little bit more research on what exactly happened so I can try to be a little more specific to give a little bit more background. So nothing super specific, but those are the topics.
Chris, you got nothing, or are you passing?
I'm going to say his least favorite episode is anytime I do one of my hippie, touchy-feely, we're going to talk about our feelings.
Oh, he hates those.
And he has to looks up Briar's Miggs, bunch of pansies.
He's got to do research in that. He has to sit in like a dark room and go, hey, what am I actually feeling? Feelings.
Yeah.
Feelings.
Those are things that get in the way of success.
Topic time.
All right. We're going to talk about using your knowledge and skills to diplomatically get your coworkers safer. Now, we are not here to tell you how to fix your coworkers' cars. In fact, I'm going to tell you, don't fix your coworkers' cars at all.
I'm in trouble with that one.
Well,
we'll get there.
You're opening yourself up to liability, stuff like that. But what you want to do is point out, hey, man, I don't know if you noticed, there's something going on. Now, this entire topic was sponsored by an Instagram conversation I was having with our buddy Brett down in Arizona. And he posted this picture of a Crown Vic, and I've been unable to find it. I wanted to find it, but it is rolling down the highway. And underneath it is a caption that says, wait for it. And you see it just kind of catch a very minor freeway undulation. And when it does, the entire rear subframe moves at least 8 inches left to right before it settles back down. Obviously, there is no connection between that entire suspension or rear end assembly and the car. The whole thing just moved independent. My co-host all live in states that require safety inspections. I have lived in teens of states, never had a safety inspection, never had to deal with any of that kind of stuff. And some of the things you will see, even here in Las Vegas, are just scary. And I don't mean like in a crap can rally, oh my God, that's hilarious way, but just in the, you're going to die and you're going to take out a whole family. One of the big things you see around here a lot, and you'd see it a lot back in Atlanta, is work vans, the infamous Ford I-beams, where the front suspension is completely collapsed and that just sits there doing this the entire way down. And I've seen them bounce up in the air and that kind of stuff. So if you see something like that within your coworkers, Chris,
I usually don't, but I'm the one that they ask, hey, my car's doing this. I don't know. But hey, we do have mandatory safety inspections in all our states, but you're still seeing cars that shouldn't be operating. A lot of it's really by people who they're lazy is somewhat. Also, they're just complacent. I think complacency has bred from the shocking reliability of any modern car. Frankly.
That's an interesting thought right there.
It's not like back in the 80s. Sure. If you had an Accord, you're like, oh, this is so amazing. My car is actually reliable. It works. I don't have to do anything, because 10 years earlier with your 74 MGB, you're setting the points with a matchbook and you're like trying to, adjust everything, and the carbs are out of whack.
People don't even know what dwell is anymore.
Exactly. Right. and people were still, you can still buy carbureted cars well into the late 80s and stuff, and things that even 90s Honda still needed valve adjustments every 30,000 miles, but they'd still run. So I think the fact that people are so complacent with modern cars, hell, even a modern Kia will go 200,000 miles with a modest set of maintenance. It'll keep running. So people there don't think they have to do stuff. It's not like, well, it's Sunday, I got to service the car today and, take out your tools and check the things. And that doesn't work anymore. So we've got people who have never, ever had to think about it, especially because if they drive it for 5 or 6 years and then something doesn't work, well, we'll get another one, because that's part of today's.
Or 80% of their ownership was under warranty.
Yeah, exactly. And they don't know. All they know is, if I go to the mechanic, it's like $2,000.
Nah, sell it. Nah.
Or they have a family member, a son-in-law, who is really good with cars. So when they say, "Hey, I got a problem," or "I haven't done this in a while. Hey, are you free on Sunday?" And we turned it into somebody's steak and lube dinner and oil changes. Hi, Mom and Dad. So
not bitter at all.
No, it's not bitter. It's not bitter. It's just this is how some people's car ownership go. And sometimes if you don't have that family member that does it, it becomes something that's not front of mind. And you don't remember to even replace some things just out of them possibly going bad. It's just because you don't think of it, because there's not a warning light, or maybe there is and you've ignored it, and you're not thinking about these things that are going as wear items.
Yeah.
And I think it's because it's become so out of mind for so many people. People just don't think about it. Like other family members of mine, not Chrissy's family members, there's a reason we got them into a new car with a warranty that's, Japanese manufacturer, that's just going to just work because it's necessary. At this point, only you're having to remember to have the oil changed once a year and the snow tires swapped on and off. That's a struggle. So
down here in the lower 48, we don't change into snow tires, Chris. Most normies.
Yeah. Then you see the people running them in the summer, which is hilarious because they just wear out immediately.
By the way, that's what a grumble is.
Yeah. So anyway, I think people don't like maintenance. People don't like to think about it because for the most part, they don't have to. And then disposable culture means I'll just get a new one. That's my thought on a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. Well, let's go around the horn and talk about some of the things that the normies have asked us, or some of the things the normies have gotten away from. Yeah.
What's that noise?
My car goes like this. So what's wrong with it?
Taiwanese national anthem.
Yes, it is.
I work with older than me retired fighter pilots who flew dangerous aircraft into combat zones, and their solution to my car's making a funny noise, so I turn up the stereo.
Oh God.
And you understand the concept of maintenance, at least, because aircraft.
Yeah.
But
Right. And it's just, and I think the nature of a lot of things that wear out are insidious. In Oklahoma, people would drive around on honest to God bald tires. And I mean racing slick bald, and would never.
You see that in Vegas a lot too, because it doesn't rain.
Don't matter.
In exactly the same thing. And they would never notice that they needed tread until it snowed or something like that. And it's just the big thing I see with a lot of vehicles here, Georgia, Oklahoma, blown shocks. Because they just go gradually and then they stop doing their thing. And it's not like, losing a cylinder on an engine where it's blatantly as obvious.
I'll tell you that.
Sometimes they do.
I've had that.
True, without a doubt.
On the way to work, and then I still had to drive home. So there's that. But yes.
On 422sucks.com, that happened.
I bet you noticed within 2 seconds. Crap.
I was like,
just blew the right rear.
Every time I went over a bump, it went like this. And then I got off, and then I'm like, oh, there's stuff everywhere on the back of this wheel, all over the brakes. And yes.
What was the thing that it was on the 3 And
Yes.
if anyone else had been driving it, they wouldn't have noticed. But you had
Oh.
Chris had to like dig it. It was part of the subframe. One of the bolts. stuck
No, it's
underneath there.
it was the motor mounts, right?
No, it was the front right lower ball joint pinch bolt was slightly loose, and when the car would do things enough, the knuckle would move on the ball joint. Actually, hey, that's one more
Okay.
thing I forgot to talk about the Mazda. We found that one of the steering knuckles that I just put through all the electrolysis and all that stuff, as I was taking it apart to take this trans out, the knuckle had cracked at the pinch joint at the bottom. It was being held together by the bolt at this point.
Yikes.
So like it's it's a split ring around that the ball joint stud goes through, and there's a bolt that pinches it down, right? When I went to look at it, I saw there was a crack on one of the sides of the thing. So that knuckle has a brand new wheel bearing and all that stuff. And so I have to go get another junkyard knuckle and take it all apart.
For those on YouTube, there's the picture. Yikes.
And that was me holding it there. It's off. It's in my hand. The piece is broken.
I've broken 2 knuckles now. 2 knuckles. One of them happened in the Mazda 3 spontaneously, or when I slid on the snow into the curb. I'm not sure.
Yeah, one of the two.
One of the two.
We're sure.
And the other one, trying to remove the ball joint, same thing, the little pinch bolt thing, as I was spreading it out, cracked.
Yep. So anyway, I need a new one because now I'm going to have to use a spare on that side. And
Anyway, let's get back to
All
what
right.
our coworkers ask us, or what we see on the road. I want to give some warning first to say that if you become the office car person, which I've become.
If you listen to this show, you're the office car person.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't matter what your skill
I'm
level
saying
is.
if
Doesn't matter
you-
if you fix anything.
If you help too much, you're going to be the person who helps and they ask you everything.
Or if
So
you
that's
show
why-
up, you're the cool person that you show up in a cool car or different cars every time, because that's how I got my name.
True.
So there's a thing. That's a thing.
But
They assume
anyway,
you know stuff.
so here's what I get all the time, and I'm going to jump down a little bit. We come back. Somebody else can do light bulbs if you want to. Is someone I just hear it somewhere in the office. Somebody's like, "Oh, my car threw a code, and I guess I'm going to have to go to the dealership and get my code read." And I go,
Please don't.
And
No.
before we go all the way down there, because I want this, the goal of this episode is we talked about the Crown Vic driving down the road with the rear subframe. You have an opportunity to help your coworkers stay safe and thus keep us all safe.
and save money.
And save
Because my coworkers don't drive hoopty things that are going to kill a family, but they're always like,
I mean,
I'm-
at least one of them probably.
they're the
your
students
students.
do. The students do. Absolutely. But they're like robot arming, like Chris said. I guess I'll go to the dealer now and get my car. And I'm like, don't do that. Let me at least look at it first.
No,
So
please.
code reader. I carry the code reader in my car because if not, I will lose it.
Is it a code reader that I bought you?
No, I have a wired one, and well, here's the problem is I it got out of my car and I've lost it. So the one I don't know. But anyway, so I carry the code reader in my car because that's where I'm going to need it. And it keeps me from losing it. So at lunch, at least twice a year, I go read a code for somebody. And it's always the same code. It's always evap or miss. And I go, erase code. If it comes back, come talk to me. I crank the gas cap and I don't see him again for another year and a half. And they're like,
evap is almost always.
you're amazing. You fixed my car with your little code reader thingy. And then like 2 years
Yes, I
later,
did.
hey, you still got that code reader thingy? I need one. I know my code. I got a check engine light. So
Now, if you're listening to the show and you're all wound up about, go to the dealer to code reader, all of your major flaps will do it for you.
absolutely. I told this to my wife. I was away. I don't remember where I was. And a bulb burnout in her headlight. And she was like, but I gotta go. And I think I was at the race. And she was like, I'm not going to have the dealership change a bulb. They wanted like $80.
Well, you got to take the whole front end of the car off.
I know. It was
That's
a freaking
normal.
Subaru. You reach in and you do it. So I said, go to the flaps, buy it. I bet you they offer to put it in. And they absolutely did.
Say flaps.
So-
what? Let's explain.
Yeah.
Flaps, please.
For
Sure.
people that don't know, flaps.
Effing local auto parts store.
Friendly
Friendly.
local auto
Friendly,
store.
sure.
And by the way, check that off in your bingo card.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, but let's talk about what the flaps will do for you. If you know nothing about cars or you don't want to fix that coworker's car because you think they're a jerk, but you still want to help them out,
So they don't kill a family.
here are some of the things that flap will do for you. Round the horn. Everybody say something.
Wiper blades.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
an easy
hell
one.
yeah.
Every spring in Atlanta, when the thunderstorm season would start up, I would be driving home, get caught in a thunderstorm, turn on my wipers, realize they were garbage because I hadn't touched them in a year, drive to the local auto parts store on my way home, and the trash can outside of the auto parts store would be full of nothing but old wiper blades and the packages. And that's all the one guy was doing, was going out there and replacing everybody's
You're
wiper
the
blades.
wiper blade guy.
And we should remind you, the local auto parts place won't charge you for this. They made their money on the part.
Yep. And it's just, the environment was very harsh. I parked under a pine tree and my wiper blades would last about a year. And then I would always replace them at the beginning of thunderstorm season. And of course I would go by them. They go, "You need us to go put them on?" I'm like, "Actually, I'm good." I'd be out there and there'd be the one
Guy would
poor
go,
wiper guy
"Thank you."
wearing the parka and he's out there swapping his 37th set of
He's
wiper.
doing it in the rain. I didn't think of that.
Of course he's doing it in the rain because it's
That's
the only
funny,
time
'cause
people
it's the only
think
time
about it.
everybody think of these things,
And I'm
yeah.
the gearhead, and even I don't think about it. And after a while, I got smart and started buying them in pairs and would throw the spare set in the trunk.
Oh, that's smart.
Hey, whenever
Yeah.
I'm buying something from Rock Auto,
You buy
I,
all
I
of
check the
them.
wiper blades and see if anyone's shipping from the same place, because the good blades are like $6. And occasionally, if you're like Jeff, they send you 12 of them.
Whole case.
Right?
Got the whole case. I actually just put on the last set of wiper blades from that case. But anyway,
Yeah.
so wiper blades, they will do for you. Batteries. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Chrissy.
Oh, yeah, I was just gonna say batteries. Yep, they'll help you. Look at it.
Not on every car, though. Actually, when I got one for the C4 Corvette, the thing specifically said not available for in-store installation, because you have
Really?
yeah
you
Oh,
gotta take
because
stuff
it's
apart.
difficult.
you have to take like a piece of the side of the car off to get
Yeah,
the
yeah.
battery. And
Okay.
Most normal
dumb.
batteries. We should say that. Most normal headlights, but not Mental's Mercedes headlight.
Probably.
They will also load test your battery. So they will test your battery before selling you one. And that is, those of us in cold climates, very important.
Yes, absolutely. Because no one thinks about their battery until it stops working.
We'll sell you lots of chrome.
Yes.
Air
Uh,
fresheners. The little tubes of grease to go on your battery terminals when you replace
Sure.
them for $4. Yes.
you know what? If they're putting it on, go ahead and buy it. $4. Do it.
Otherwise,
glad.
use a diet. Otherwise, use a Diet Coke like every other gearhead.
Exactly. Bulbs, actually, they might change your taillight bulbs, depending on the car. Yeah, if it's an easy one, they will. I have had them. Okay, so one thing I hate, driving behind someone who only has 2 brake lights, not 3. I'm very annoyed just by thinking about it.
What if it's an old car?
Why don't your brake lights work? Anyway, that's a great thing you should mention to your coworkers if you see they have a bad bulb.
I think about this on the racetrack when they have odd ones, or some of them don't work, or they're dim. That makes me annoyed.
We actually black flagged 2 cars 2 weeks ago
Good.
at Autobahn because
Good.
the brake lights when we brought them in, they were working, but we were like, before the next race, you're going to need to upgrade. This is
Yep.
awful. Good thing for if you're worried about if you care about your coworkers and you wonder, hey, do they need wiper blades? If it's a muddy, rainy, misty kind of a day and you see clear streaks across their front windshield as you're walking through the parking lot, mention to them, AutoZone will put those on for free.
Mental's like looking for people to help. I'm like sitting in my office going, don't ask me to look at, don't
aren't
ask
you
me
a
a car
famous?
question.
You're a star.
You are.
Oh, you're a star that's supposed to be at a show right now. And
Yes. We can mention that in a little bit after
I'm
we're done
sorry.
the
I
main
was just
topic.
thinking about how you're a famous movie
I-
star.
I have an
about racing.
impromptu non-listener feedback. In a minute.
Oh,
So anyway, another danger of being the office car, and this is really, sometimes you have to be the bearer of bad news, not because something's broken, but because they got their butt reamed.
Oh.
They're like, Jeff, I just had a lot of work done on my car. Can you look at the receipt and tell me what this means?
Oh,
And I look at
no.
it and I'm like, oh, they charged you what? Oh my God, did it come with a cigarette? I don't know what dealerships charge for things. I don't know how they decide what they're going to charge for things, but damn, that's all I got to say. Damn. I had a guy at my former job. I swear to God, he would go to the Lexus dealership to get new tires.
You know, you got to pull the whole front end off for that.
Oh my God.
But I was like, tires? Why are you spending dealership prices on tires?
Now, to that end, because you guys are all gearheads, how do you know if a tire is worn and needs to be replaced?
If you see the steel, it's almost time.
This is a good point. I told this story, but it was, I think, 4 years ago, like single digit episodes when I was going through school bus driver training. This is a lovely woman going through the training with me. She was not a gearhead. She was very safety minded, and we were taking everything. And part of it was we had to, you had to do a pre-safety inspection every time you drive a bus. And one of that's checking the tires. And as they mentioned this, she says, I don't play around with tires. The first moment I see a steel belt, I get my tires replaced.
No.
This was a school bus driver. Now, after she was immediately educated as to why this was a bad plan, but that was, and she had the right attitude, didn't have the knowledge. So one of you smart co-hosts of mine, how do you know when tires are worn out?
The old Lincoln penny head thing, I'm sure that still works, but every modern tire has wear bars these days. And I think it's a lot easier to tell a non-car person what a wear bar looks like and how to look for it.
What does a wear bar look like? How do you look for it?
What are we, the garage heroes in training? Everyone listening to this podcast knows what a wear bar is. Okay.
I'll give you that. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. This is, yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
Okay. So
we get
there
to
are
listen.
bars that go across the tread that are very they're not as tall as the rest of the tread. And when that bar is the same height as the rest of the tread, you're done.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're getting close to that, you're done. Or if any part of your tire is slick all the way around.
Yeah, that's a good sign.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I love
still
the Continentals.
compulsively reach into my rear fender all the way across as far as I can across the tire when I'm filling up the car and feel the wear bars just to make sure.
Because it's good. The rears are going to wear that inside first.
Yes, they are.
Yep.
Yeah.
Usually my rears don't last that long, but yes.
Who knew? Yeah.
I love Continentals who put the words in, like put in little letters.
Oh yeah, it said DWS.
When the letters go away, that tire's done.
Yeah.
No. On the tire note, let me get through another rant.
Tires are a great thing you can help people out with pretty easily.
Yeah. There are so many times that I have told someone's like, oh, I need tires. Hey, Jeff, where should I go get tires? The dealership or the local Firestone? And I go, neither. And I go and I take them to Tire Rack or Discount Tire Direct and I fill the shopping cart and I say, that price is a better tire and a better price than you're going to get. If you go down to the local place, they're going to sell you a Kelly, Starfire, Achilles, Lexan,
Uniroyal
Americas,
Tiger Paw,
Nankang, GT, Haida, Venza, when you could have gotten a Bridgestone, a PFG, a Dunlop, a Kumo, a Hankook, a Toyo, a Yokohama, drop shipped to the same exact tire store that was about to sell you a Supermax, an Atlas Force, a Thunder Rager, a Full Way, a Milestar, or anything else.
the things we saw in the very back corner of SEMA.
Starfire.
By the way, if you've ever had a Achilles, Lexani, Americas, Thunder Ranger, Milestar, ooh,
Mastercraft.
Mastercraft. They don't sell Mastercraft anymore, do they? That was a Sears brand, wasn't it?
That was the Road Hugger, raised white letters.
What was on the Citroen?
Those are okay, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like the elephant brand, whatever it was. It's just an elephant.
Yeah. You can get better tires for like 60% of the price. I am shocked at what people pay for tires.
And this is the key:
at a tire
Jeff
place.
said installed at the same location. It's installed at a good quality, certified mechanic location.
You can pick
exactly. And the big thing here, because we're in elevation, is a lot of those standard tire installers, and they're getting money. You're not ripping them off. They'll fill your tires with nitrogen, so you're not as affected by temperature changes. And
in New Jersey, don't pay for the damn nitrogen.
And don't, yeah.
Well, it's not an additional charge. They just have the nitrogen tanks, and it's easier. And they do all that kind of stuff. And the upside, so you get cheap tires, you have them installed by a reputable dealer, and most of those places, if your tire pressure light comes on, you swing by there, they'll air them all up for you.
I'm still looking for a good tire place near me.
Right.
With nitrogen, you're not paying for the nitrogen. You're paying for the lack of moisture in it. Really is what you're paying for.
And it doesn't respond. It doesn't expand and contract the same as just ambient air to heat.
It's pretty close, because regular air is 74% nitrogen.
Right.
So, all right. Anything else on this topic?
Blown shocks, scratchy brakes.
Scratchy brakes. We didn't talk at all about brakes.
Cracked.
Let's talk about
windshields,
brakes.
too. How many people you see with windshields that look like someone's head hit it?
Actually.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure that was a baby.
Hey, well, I feel like you're not helping your coworker with that one, because if it looks like their head hit it. Now, hey, Bob, got a bit of a spider web on that one. Yeah, I know. Have a good day, Bob.
It was just a squirrel. It's cool. Nope, not a squirrel.
Blown shocks. If the car keeps, like, they go through the little ramp into the parking lot where you work, and it keeps going, Fred, you may not have noticed, but I think your shocks might be on. You can get those things for like $90 at Walmart.
Well, that's not good though.
I don't want to get them Walmart shocks.
No,
it's better than blown shocks, and they're going to trade the car in a year anyway. Yeah.
Oh well.
Scratchy brakes, Jeff. That seemed to be a hot button.
Yeah, no, I just think a lot of people will say, "Yeah, my brakes are making a noise." This is the students. I should say this is.
When our brakes make a noise because we have a fairly aggressive pad on it, everyone's like, "Something's wrong with your brakes." So we're like,
when we had the ST43s on the Mazda, and I had to go up to a place when this was during COVID, and I had to go around and do an outside temperature scan before I could go in the building. I knew I was coming up to this lady, and she was going to freak out because these brakes were so freaking loud.
But they're so good.
They're so good, but not in a parking lot when I was just coming off the highway because they weren't hot. And she was like, "Wow, you need new brakes." And I was like, "Don't start with me, lady. They're fine." Yes, but sometimes, most of the time, it's not that.
And the reason she said that is General Motors, I don't know if anybody else does this, General Motors puts a piece of metal on their factory brake pads that curves around. And when the brakes wear down to a certain point, and of course you're not watching this, you can't see my awesome visual, the piece of metal makes contact with the metal rotor on your brakes and goes.
You know what that piece of metal is called? The industry term for that piece of metal?
Squeal clip.
The squealer.
Squealer. Okay, I heard it's
called squealer.
Yeah, most standard street pads have that on it of any kind.
So if you're not a racer and you're not running ST43s and your car's going,
even the Pagets on the Mercedes, the OEM ones would do it when they were really cold, like cold days, because they just needed some heat.
Haven't had that problem.
Yeah, I know you haven't.
All right.
If your brakes are making a scrapey noise, drive
a different problem
immediately.
Yeah, those are the fun ones when you see the super heavy rust on people's wheels.
Yes.
From miles and miles of backing plate to rotor wear.
Yes, I've seen that.
Yes.
So interestingly, I also get frequently asked about. So I'm going to buy a car. What do you think I should do? People ask me for purchasing advice and selling advice.
And then they buy a freaking Nissan Rogue.
I know.
The hell.
Which should be a different show, how to give advice on buying a car. But I want to say during the show,
I hate the Rogue.
I was texted by a coworker who is selling her Saturn Vue. And was like,
the Honda powered Saturn.
The Honda powered Saturn Vue. Because I told her to put it on Facebook Marketplace instead of Craigslist. And
Tell
she
me
said
that's
she's
not
gonna
the
buy it.
picture. Tell me the picture you're holding that looks like it was taken from a football field away in mud is not the one she is using to advertise.
No, that's the ultra special surprise edition of non-listener feedback.
Okay. All right. The last thing here I want to throw out there, and feel free to correct me, co-host, if I'm wrong. Hanging exhaust. Most people don't care. You know, it only scrapes when I go over speed bumps and stuff like that. Mention this to your coworkers, because what's going to happen is eventually it's going to catch and it's going to rip off, and it is going to cause much damage as it comes flying out, probably to their car, but more importantly to yours as it flies into your windshield. You know, most muffler shops, you roll up in there, weld it up cheap, bring them a case of beer, catch them right as they're closing.
I haven't really seen this in years, really. Like, and I
Yeah.
live in the Northeast.
Mental's hooptiness at the level of his coworkers' hooptiness is way more than the hooptiness of
Yeah.
our coworkers.
Yeah, I work at a Fortune 500 company where we pay our employees like quite well. And, like, it's really for a long
Well,
time.
no,
I
and
had the
that- and
hoopiest
that's-
thing in the
and
parking
that's-
lot. Come on,
And that is a valid statement. And it just goes back to just the people that look at cars as disposable appliances and give them no attention at all. But now that you say that out loud, yeah, I haven't seen it for quite some time, because a Kia, the exhaust doesn't fall off of a new Kia.
Well, I also think out here in the East, they rust away. Like, there's so much visible rust and stuff before they ever really, like, the motors are working fine and they're rusty heaps, and they get sold and they get passed down to the kid and put on Facebook Marketplace and traded for a broken Xbox on Craigslist before they ever get that deteriorated.
It's also been made out of stainless for 20 years now, for the most part. Like, the last stock exhaust I had to replace out of rust was my Suburban. I replaced the muffler because it had a hole in it last year when the truck was 17 years old.
Yeah.
And most other
I think I was
Suburbans
operating
have no
out of
rockers
habit.
left.
Yeah.
Oh, no, back in the day, like, I remember my mom's 5-year-old Civic needing a new muffler. That was just normal. You go to Meineke, you know, and before we knew better. Anyway,
All right. Yeah.
help your coworkers, because you know more than they are. You can save them thousands of dollars and a lot of aggravation. And
Yeah,
they will
there you
love
go.
for it.
Don't attack them. Don't walk up and go, Bob, you drive a piece of shit and you're making us all want to die.
You seriously bought a Nissan Rogue? What the hell is wrong with you?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, if Bob bought a Nissan Rogue, don't talk to Bob anymore, because Bob makes
No.
bad decisions. But
No.
if you see your coworkers and it's just one of those things, not offering to fix it, just offering them the helpful, hey, I don't know, you could save some money if you do X, Y, or Z, or you could make that car last a little more, do X, Y, Z, thus making the freeways and by extension, all of us safer.
Yeah. Awesome.
Jeff, you want to bust out your surprise listener feedback?
So because I needed a tug and was texting some random people at the New Jersey Motorsports race.
And in New Jersey, that's exactly how you get a tug. You just text random people.
I'm now on the every once in a while text list with Hafton.
Oh, that is awesome.
So today I get a random set of pictures of he and his crew getting tacos
With the Duke Cadillac.
with the Duke Cadillac. Off-roading, I'm going to zoom in a little because it's really far away. Off-roading at some farm in the Duke Cadillac. And I'm like,
Excellent.
why is Hafton sending me random pictures? And he says, hey, we took some time out for tacos in Middlebury and trespassing on some farm en route after attending the Hoopties premiere and associated rally this afternoon. Well-deserved feather in the cap for the whole 3 p.m. crew. And then I said, there was a rally. Looks like fun. Hope the showing went well. I was planning the trip, but the pipe burst. You know, I have a leak in my thing. It's not a pipe burst, but that just makes it easier. And he said, we're on a rally of our own making, feeling your pain. We tarped our roof and shut the water off before we left because our house was leaking too.
That is such a
Hafton.
Hafton. If you go to the Connecticut NPR website, there's a great article about the entire Lemons race at Thompson, and it was just wonderful to read. It was on the Citrus Racers Lounge, and they go into discussion about Hafton and his Cadillac and his other Cadillac and their pit vehicle. If you ever race up in the Northeast,
You know who we're talking about.
What an incredibly wonderful group of people. The Limitarians are hilarious.
Yeah, Hafton's a great guy. And runs some sort of tree service. So if you live up in the great Northeast and you
Connecticut somewhere and need
Connecticut somewhere need tree service.
And honestly, if you want it done right, this is a man that can wheel a Cadillac. He can cut down your tree.
He looks like he will do whatever kind of tree service you want.
The picture of his like business card is like a postcard, and it is him on like a carved tree that looks like a chain, like it was carved into a chain, and he's like 30 feet in the air wielding his ginormous chainsaw. So
that is brilliant.
All right. Are we ready to move on?
Yes.
All right.
I think technically we're ready to wrap up, but yes.
Okay. I have a really quick around the horn. In the last 2 weeks, because of COVID, some random things came together, and the Woodward Dream Cruise and Monterey happened at almost the exact same time. So it was an interesting, like, two sides of the country doing two honestly bucket list car things all at the same time. We know that Pebble Beach and Goodwood are out there, probably also on the bucket list. Here's my around the horn. What is your dream car event? What would you like miss your mother's anniversary to go see? Or
I'd miss my mother's anniversary for a Concours Dilemmas.
Clarification, car event or car show?
I was going to go with show, but something you're going to watch. A festival.
All right.
Of some sort. Not like, I don't know, whatever. Bend the rules. Say what you want.
Le Mans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's why I was going to say not a race.
But it is a festival.
It is a festival. Yeah.
I was going to say the same thing. And we were this close last year.
Well, and hopefully we're this close next year, because
hopefully
I've been doing French for 2 years to make it to Le Mans so I can get his butt around France. So there's that.
You say his butt, you know, you're gonna end up translating for all of us.
Sure.
Chris, you still speak German, right? Get around in France. Yeah.
He doesn't know.
The French get a little nervous when blonde people start speaking German.
Oh no.
Oh no, I don't think so.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I don't want to derail yours. It's an excellent point, but I remember one of my deployments writing down a bunch of stuff that I wanted to do. And there's still some things that I want to do, but I feel really proud that I've made a lot of those things happen. And Le Mans is dang near one of my last ones that I want to do, just the whole festival of it. And if you disqualify that one, then I'm going to say Goodwood.
I was going to say Goodwood Festival of Speed. So that's why I didn't eliminate
But
races.
you go and watch that.
So I don't know. Le Mans is such a great answer. Although honestly, I know it's in France and stuff, and it's more historic and stuff. I kind of like the 24 Hours of Daytona better.
Oh, you
like
should
watching
totally go.
it. I like watching it. I think it's a great event.
Amazing. I was this close to having you talked into going with me this year.
No, I'm going. I just got to wait till the damn COVID goes away. Anyway. Thank you for playing around the horn, even though y'all had better answers and it didn't go where I wanted it to. What are we doing next week?
All right. So he apologized profusely, but Kyle Smith, Haggerty contributor, McPherson college graduate, currently writing a great piece. It's the automotive restoration bachelor's degree in Kansas.
Okay.
Yes, they did. Yeah. And he is currently writing a series called 6 Ways from Sundays, where he is taking his Honda XR250 in 6 separate disciplines of vintage motorcycle racing and working that across the country. Really, really interesting person. Wanted to be on the show from a hotel room last week, but he was out doing another motorcycle assignment for Haggerty, and genuinely they just ran late and they were out in the middle of nowhere, Southern California. And you'll be able to see that article on Haggerty, probably on their YouTube channel as well. You can find him in Kyle's Garage on the Haggerty channel. He's really interesting. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
And he's our guest next week.
He is.
Awesome. I'm hitting
Unless he
music.
backs out again and then screw that. guy.
Ah, Jesus. We'll be fine. Then we'll have a Hafton on. I'm joking.
Man, that would be interesting.
That would be interesting.
Wow.
You know he'd have to just come to your house because there's no way he has internet.
No. Sometimes you got to say, is that guy's costume or is that just him?
Or is his car? Is that him? We've done that. Is that his car or is that him?
That's awesome.
Like daily driver.
Yes.
Yes. Is that a joke or is that really his car? Thank you for downloading us. We hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Everyone Racers. We also hope you'll join us in driving, racing, and building because everyone can be a racer. Even you. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe. It's totally free. Then go to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. If you're watching on the YouTubes, put it down there in the doodly-doo. If you hate us, give us 5 stars, tell us why. If you have any questions or show ideas, drop a comment on our Facebook page, Everyone Racers, or email us at everyone.racers@gmail.com, or email us any questions for the Ask Me Anything episode that is coming up in 2 weeks. You could even text those questions, 484-243-0455. Find us on the gram or on the Twitbot, everyone.racers.
Reddit.
Thanks again. Reddit. I haven't gone to the Reddit yet. Thanks again, and until next week, keep the shiny side up, unless it's a bear box, and then just bat it around.
I'm out. Well, I'm out recording.